Howdy, risk takers. It's me, your stalwart host and frequent GM, Mitch Brewster. I'm here solo today to bring y'all a quick update on the show's status with the end of season 1 and a couple of announcements about what you can expect from us over the next couple of months. As always, you can find us over in the show's Discord. There's a link to that in the show notes. We also just created a Blue Sky account for the show. You can find us there at Risky Standard. And going forward, I think you can expect that we'll be posting updates there more often and kind of winding down our Twitter account for clear and obvious reasons. The Discord, however, is definitely the best place to find updates about Risky Standard. We're always in there chatting about the show, talking about TTRPGs in general, and our other obscure interests on the regular. So firstly, before we hit the announcements, I just want to give a big shout out once again and say thank you to everyone who has listened to the show, to everyone who has shared the show with their friends, who's posted about it somewhere. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. I'd also like to say thank you once again to Austin Ramsey. Beam Saber is a fantastic game, and it gave us a framework to tell a really fun and exciting story in Season 1 that we're all really proud of. If you haven't already, I highly recommend that you go pick it up and check out some of Austin's other games at her itch.io page. Link to that also in the show notes. Also, we were at PAX Unplugged this weekend and got to meet a bunch of people, including some game creators and some other podcasters in the actual play space, which is a real delight. So shout out to all those folks. We also walked away with several games that we're pretty excited about playing and expect you might end up hearing some of those on the show here in the future. With all of that said, here is what you can expect from Risky Standard going into the new year. So first, very big announcement. We have a new member joining the Risky Standard team. Welcome to Liam, who is going to be taking over production duties for the show going forward. You can expect to start hearing some of Liam's work with us, starting with our next episode. And you can also check out Liam's other show, an actual play podcast called Mixed Success. A link to that in the show note. Extremely pumped to have Liam on the show with us, and I think it's going to make Risky Standard better than ever. Certainly going to make it sound better than ever. So, with regards to what is next for Risky Standard, as we've said before, we're going to be playing The Wild Sea by Felix Isaacs for Season 2. The Wild Sea is a weird fantasy TTRPG of sailing and discovery across a vibrant treetop sea. Our players will take on the role of wild sailors, explorers who travel across the canopy of an endless forest that has overtaken the world, encountering strange creatures and relics from the long-lost surface below the trees. However, we are not going to be jumping right into the Wild Sea. Instead, we're going to be playing a couple of standalone stories before we really get started with Season 2. Coming up next in the release schedule, you can expect us to be playing a game of Fiasco by Jason Morningstar from Bully Pulpit Games. Fiasco is an award-winning GM-less game where players tell cinematic tales of small-time capers gone disastrously wrong. And we'll be using it to tell a story about greed and glory in the fictional Great Northwestern Wrestling Federation in the early 1980s. And after that, we will be briefly returning to the science fiction setting of Season 1. But we will be turning our eyes far away from the desert planet of Imber towards a story playing out in another corner of the galactic network. Our own resident chip expert, Peter Loftus, will be taking over GM duties as we play the Forged in the Dark game Scum and Villainy to introduce the Division of Silent Accords, a shadowy branch of the Ring's intelligence network, and follow them on a mission that will see them investigate the sudden appearance of a mysterious object in deep space with unusual fundamental properties. Once we've wrapped up that mission with the Division of Silent Accords, our plan right now is to start revving up the engines and diving headfirst into the Wild Sea. But we're also going to leave a little room open here, just in case another game catches our eyes for a one-shot or something like that before we actually get there. We are also planning on recording a little post-mortem / kind of Q&A episode concerning the first season. It's going to be a chance for us to kind of talk about the first season, ask each other some questions about our experience making it, how we felt about it, how we felt about the finale, and also a chance for us to answer any listener questions you guys might have about the show. I'm not entirely sure where we are going to drop that in the timeline, but we will be recording it sometime in the next week or so from when we are releasing this little announcement, which is December 13th, 2024. So, dear listener, if you've got any questions about season 1 of the show, or really just any questions about the show in general, you can send those to us over at riskystandardpod@gmail.com. You can also, of course, hop in the Discord, where I'll be posting a thread to gather questions, or hit us up on our Blue Sky at Risky Standard. In addition to all these regular releases, we are also working on setting up a Risky Standard Patreon that we are planning to release a little closer to the launch of Season 2. If you've been enjoying the show so far, that'll be a great way to support us, help us keep making the show. And we are also planning on releasing some bonus episodes for Patreon subscribers. We'll have more details on all of that once we're a little bit closer to actually launching it. But right now we have already started recording some supplementary world building one-shots for the Wild Sea that will be part of these bonus releases. So keep your ears open for that announcement a little further down the line. We've got a bunch of other ideas cooking for next year here on Risky Standard as well. None of that stuff is really ready to announce yet, but just know, dear listener, that we are looking to the future here at Risky Standard HQ. We're excited to keep growing the show and telling stories for all of you beautiful risk takers out there. So that about does it for announcements today. I just want to say, if you like the show, come join us in the Discord, follow us on Blue Sky. If you've listened to the first season and you didn't hate it, why not give us one of those classic 5-star ratings on your podcast platform of choice? But seriously, once again, I do just want to say thank you to everyone out there who is listening. It has been a joy this first season, making the show, sharing it with all of you, getting to see people's reactions and their thoughts about the work that we've done. And I hope that you will join us for what comes next.